There are a lot of dangerous jobs in the world. When people think about jobs that are hazardous, usually they are thinking about occupations such as race car drivers, astronauts, or maybe soldiers. However, it might come as a surprise to learn that some jobs are perhaps even more dangerous in ways that you might never imagine. So, before you decide on a career path, join us for this episode of 5-Minute Facts as we look at the top 5 professions that can be more likely to kill you than others. Number 5. Pharmacist. Someone wanting to begin a career as a pharmacist can expect to first obtain a minimum of a 2-year degree in college, preferably a bachelor's degree in a related subject curriculum. Then, they enter into a very competitive 4 years in pharmacy school. This can be extremely rigorous and demanding, and many students feel like they are always on the verge of being dropped from the program. After graduating, they can look forward to a 2-year residency. Once finally licensed, you can finally begin to experience the often thankless job of being a pharmacist. Of course, if you are a perfectionist, then you may feel right at home. Dispensing medication requires constant attention, and even one small mistake can result in losing your job, along with all of the hard work getting there. If you are wanting to become a pharmacist, expect to work long hours, which often includes shift work, as some pharmacies are operating 24 hours a day. Shift work has been shown to have a negative impact on mental health. You must also be prepared to answer often endless streams of questions from both patients and medical professionals. Add to all of this a potentially hefty student debt. Some people may find the stress of being a pharmacist just too demanding. Having access to a wide range of drugs, and armed with the knowledge of their effects, might help explain the higher rates of suicide in this career path. Pharmacists, 29% more likely to commit suicide than those in the average profession. Number 4. Lawyers. It's a famous line from one of Shakespeare's plays, Henry VI, "Kill all the lawyers." But it seems as if that task is a bit easier, with research showing that a surprising 40% of law school students suffer depression. In fact, depression seems to follow some throughout their career, with practicing lawyers experiencing depression rates nearly 4 times the rate of average professions. But why is that? The journey to become a lawyer brings with it significant financial burden. Most will graduate with substantial debt, and finding employment that meets their financial needs can be difficult. In order to establish themselves, they must work long hours and put in tireless effort. Lawyers do not enjoy a good reputation from the public, and most are keenly aware of this. The negative effect that some client-attorney privilege may have only adds to their moral struggle. All of this pressure can add up, and some may feel the only way out of this career path with so much invested is suicide. This problem has become so alarming that some states in the US now require psychological evaluations for all lawyers in order to keep their license. Lawyers, 33% more likely to commit suicide than those in the average profession. Number 3. Veterinarians. Apparently, some veterinarians might just be as sick as a dog, literally. Like some other professions on this list, veterinarians often work long hours, and there is constant pressure to make proper decisions and work with precise skill. Most vets have a lifelong fondness for animals, and working with so many sick pets is bound to become depressing for some. Often it is necessary to put the animal down, and this can have an impact on mental health after a while, as feelings of sadness and depression can develop. Studies also indicate that veterinarians often believe that they are already taking the best care of themselves that they can, and delay medical treatment. As with pharmacists, they have access to many medications along with the knowledge of how to put an end to it all, if they feel they must. It still isn't clear why the suicide rate for vets is so high, but historically, This career can be dangerous to your health. Veterinarians, 54% more likely to commit suicide than those in the average profession. Number 2, dentists. Dentists may be good for your smile, but many of them aren't smiling themselves. There are few places that people dread going to more than the dentist's office, and this can create a depressing environment as a workplace. The field of dentistry is very competitive, and the job requires extreme technical skill to perform to their patients' satisfaction. While dentists can enjoy a good income, there is a significant cost to achieve this career path. Establishing yourself can be difficult, and stress can develop from the looming financial burden. Dentists experience stress from a number of factors, including long hours, complaints from patients, and overworking in an attempt to pay off debt. All of these factors are believed to contribute to a high rate of depression among dentists. Armed with pharmaceutical knowledge and the means to use it, it's easy for them to take the easy way out. While the reasons are unclear, research shows that dentists are less likely to get help when a mental health crisis develops. Dentists, 67% more likely to commit suicide than the average profession. Number 1, doctors. It may come as a surprise to some, but medical doctors represent the profession in which you are most likely to kill yourself. And after examining the others on this list, it is easy to see why. 4% of all doctor deaths are from suicide. To reach this staggering statistic, many factors come into play. Doctors often work extremely long hours, and interactions with patients can be demanding. There is also the constant threat of malpractice lawsuits and required continuing education. Many doctors are overwhelmed by medical school expenses, and it can take many years to pay off this debt. When stress and depression hits, access to medication is easy. And no one knows how to use medicine for fatal results better than a doctor. Doctors are also more likely to recognize that they are suffering from mental health problems. However, it's easy to see why they might want to hide this condition. Often they may fear that the treatment they will receive may compromise their performance. For someone who has invested at least 12 years of education into a career path, it's not hard to understand why they may see suicide as the only way out when things fall apart. Many times, it just might be that those who we count on to heal us might very well be the ones that are hurting the most. Doctors, 87% more likely to commit suicide than the average profession. It's important to point out that many people work in these professions without suffering from any mental illness. Just because you choose one of these career paths doesn't mean it will kill you. But keep in mind, no matter what you choose to do for a living, staying on top of your mental health is extremely important. Assuming you can recognize the signs of stress, depression, and burnout early enough, you just may be at the top of your game in these professions that claim more lives than any others.